Have you ever asked yourself the question, who am I? It's a question we all face, whether it's with our careers, relationships, or even faith. And if you're anything like me, it's one that doesn't come with easy answers. I have found that the more that I've asked myself this question, and the more that I seek answers to this question, I find myself leading myself to new and sometimes uncomfortable places. I also question, is it even reasonable for a 26-year-old to understand or even grasp the concept of who he is or who I am? Is that even a realistic expectation? I don't I don't know. What does that question even mean? What does it mean when it comes to my work? What does it mean when it comes to who I am as a husband? What does it mean who I am when it comes to my faith or my friends or myself as a son or a brother? Like, who am I as a human being? I think this is such a deep question that sometimes I even question the fact that I'm even questioning it at 26 years old. There's a quote that I want to share that I think is a great way to kind of introduce today's video. The question, who am I, is not meant to arrive at an answer, but to bring you into alignment with your true being. Eckhart Tolle. At 26 years old, I do not yet have the life experience, to even consider myself close to being a philosopher or someone that people could look to for philosophical reasoning or answers. That is just, I don't even think that's in the realm of possibility at this point in time. But I do think that I have a very high interest in very intrinsic and very philosophical and even faith-driven questions that I tend to ask myself often, or things that I just sit and think about that revolve around these ideas that are kind of the basis of why I create these videos, because I know that I'm not necessarily the only one that thinks about these things, but maybe it's that a lot of people have these sort of thoughts but don't know how to necessarily articulate them, or even how to reason with their thoughts of okay, this is in my head, what does this even mean? Again, I don't have any of the answers, but I think that with my curiosity and my ability to just be interested in why I think about these things is kind of given me the confidence to be able to just speak on my own thoughts about certain topics when it comes to these sort of deep, intrinsic, philosophical ideas. As I was sort of writing out this video, scripting it, coming up with ideas, I kept asking myself the singular question of what is the purpose of this video? What are you trying to share with this topic? And I came to the conclusion that my answer is that I don't necessarily have an answer. And I think that's kind of the point. Given the topic, who am I, can either limit us in what we're able to do, what we're able to accomplish, and who we become, or it can essentially set us free. And I think that's kind of the idea of what I want to explore in today's kind of conversation. I notice within myself that I often put very strict labels on who I think I am. For example, I'm a cinematographer. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a content creator. I'm a podcaster. I'm a husband. I'm not a fill in the blank. These labels I feel are concrete, but are they actually concrete is the real question. As I evolve through my sort of creative career, I sometimes notice that these labels that I put on myself often limit me and limit my potential of what I feel I may be truly capable of and what I might be able to fulfill in my life, because I sometimes limit myself as one thing and not another. And when I don't identify myself as something, maybe I don't put as much effort or importance or passion into that thing because it's something that maybe I'm embarrassed by, or maybe it's something that society tells me I shouldn't be, or it's maybe something that I'm not confident in myself that I'm able to call myself that, for example. So I think that sometimes I notice that the labels that I put on myself do limit what I feel I'm able to actually fulfill. Specifically, I have always sort of wrestled with who I identify as in the film and video space. To a lot of people, most people in fact, I'm known as a cinematographer in the traditional commercial and film space, a director of photography. But to a lot of other people, I'm known as a YouTuber who is able to provide content, who's able to provide insight, wisdom, and knowledge, and being able to share experiences in order to be able to help other people, maybe you, with whatever you're facing, or be able to share my experiences. For other people, I'm a podcaster. I'm able to bring valuable guests and people of high value to the platform to be able to have an in-depth and insightful conversation for people to listen to and engage with. But that is who people know me as. But when it comes to the question, what do you do? For example, if someone were to meet me for the first time and ask me, hey, what do you do? What do you do for a living? 99.999% of the time, my answer is, I'm a cinematographer. I so often neglect the other aspects of my life of what make me, me, that I often wonder if by me neglecting these things and publicly sharing the things that I identify as in what makes me, me in total, am I limiting what I'm able to fulfill for myself? At the core, what I really believe and who I really believe I am is an artist. Someone who is multidisciplinary, who is able to explore multiple different aspects of the craft of filmmaking or podcasting or conversation or YouTube or content creation, and isn't just limited to one specific thing. I mean, maybe it comes from listening to what other people have to say more than me listening to myself. You're not a real filmmaker if you do YouTube. Don't do YouTube if you want to be taken seriously as a cinematographer. Real filmmakers don't have time for family and friends. Content creation isn't art. Of course, this is quite specific to the niche that I'm in and, the audience that watches my videos, but I'm not the only one that notices that within myself, the way that others tend to describe who you are or who you are not to be holds quite a big impact in who we self-identify as or who we don't self-identify as. All this to say that maybe we limit what we are truly capable of because we only identify as one thing and one thing only. In reality, maybe our evolution as an artist is pushing us towards expansion of becoming something else or something new, or someone that is able to become this thing, that thing, and another. And I don't necessarily want this message to come across as spread yourself too thin or don't focus on a path. But I think what I mean is that so often I notice within some friends of mine and colleagues is that you become known as something. You become known as one thing, and your peers, society will only depict you as that one thing, and it'll pigeonhole you and put you in a corner and say that that is who you are. When in reality, that might be who you are, but you also are this thing over here. You're also that thing. You're also this. You want to try this. So we have the fear that if we diverge from the thing that everyone knows us from, that we won't be forgotten, we won't be known anymore, there won't be people following us anymore, there won't be any supporters anymore because I'm trying something new. So I think there's the fear of that, so we often result to just continuing to do the same thing and limiting ourselves and limiting our voice and limiting our artistic value because of the fear of expansion and trying something new to evolve as a human being and as an artist. So maybe the question isn't who am I, but it should be who am I becoming? And instead of resisting change, maybe it's important to embrace change. Let yourself evolve and maybe let yourself become more than one thing. Again, maybe this is just me. I'm a 26-year-old dude that maybe just thinks way too much. So that's all I got for you today. Hopefully, maybe there was something in today's video that you found to be beneficial to you, and maybe something that you have been talking to yourself about that you didn't know how to kind of articulate. Either way, I think those of you that watch this video, don't limit yourself. I think it's important to know that you can be more than one thing. You can explore, you can try things, you can fail, you can succeed. As an artist, it's important to go through life and try and have new experience. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you next time. Peace out.